Today, we're discussing the top 3 altcoins for July of 2021 to watch. Now, keep in mind that this is a very interesting market at our current time. We are back in this long-term trend of the symmetrical triangle if you're just looking at the overall Bitcoin price charts. And in my previous episode of Daily DeFi, I discussed how correlated this market is. Now, either you can use this to your advantage or it will be used to your disadvantage. Just like Albert Einstein says, the eighth wonder of the world is compound interest. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it. Paying it is in the form of like consumer debt, so credit card debt. Earning it is understanding how to invest properly in capital markets. So I do have to say this as a caveat before I start this video, before I break down how I research my tokens for the next month, how I research a lot of my different investment opportunities just in the crypto industry. I do have to say, if you haven't participated in a bull run, in any capital market before, whether it's a commodity cycle, whether it's a stock market cycle, whether it's a real estate market cycle, be very, very careful because it's a brand new market to you, right? So this is kind of your first baby step in investing. And I think this is a great place to start because essentially you can simulate things very quickly. As Abraham Lincoln says, learn from everybody, even if it's what not to do. So you can learn lessons super, super fast in this market. So you can simulate a lot of these things, which in a lot of other industries have taken very, very long times. But you can do it in this very high growth sector. But you have to understand, with high growth comes high decay, right? And this is what we've seen with Bitcoin. There's a lot of indicators right now that's showing that we're in this bear season, in my opinion, in a long-term bear market. But we are in a short-term bear season. So keep all these things in mind as we talk through this video. But I did want to show you this, how I look at this, at least if you're going to use CoinMarketCap. Personally, I like to use CoinGecko to track my coins to get the more up-to-date and a bit more accurate Oracle data information on what the coins are doing as far as volume and market cap. But hey, that's for anyone's debate. So what I like to do here on CoinMarketCap, as far as just researching coins, is I like to go to categories and then break it down by, all the ecosystems, what are they actually doing, right? So I think the word cryptocurrency is a very large blanket statement on what we're actually doing here, right? So each of these projects are not trying to be currencies, right? So maybe Bitcoin is trying to be a currency, maybe Litecoin, maybe some of these other ones are trying to be a bit more currency-based projects in the blockchain space. So, right, fundamentally, all these are being built on blockchain. But what you want to look for is, what is the use case? Is it a masternode? Are they working on gambling? Are they working on tourism, insurance, decentralized exchanges, all these different things? Personally, my main focus in this space is very long-term, first of all. So I have a very long-term view. So I'm not looking just necessarily for short-term gains. Now I always break up my portfolio in kind of the Trident approach. First prong of the Trident is kind of the long-term averaged in positions. Second portion is to add to that first position, which is kind of swing trading, which I talk about, and you could do day trading with that as well. But I talk about that in our series basically for free on technical analysis, understanding how to trade in capital markets, called Global TA. It's a free series that I put out every single Sunday. They're each like around half an hour to 40-minute episodes, all based around how to understand how to trade in capital markets. And I saw all these people charging like thousands and thousands of dollars for technical analysis courses. And I'm like, I'm going to put this out for free. So that's kind of how I base that second prong of the portfolio. The third prong is stable coins. So the beautiful thing about the third prong is, in this cycle, this is why I've been able to be so happy, why I've enjoyed this market while I'm here in beautiful Batumi, Georgia on the Black Sea, because I've been able to average into quality projects that I believe in long term. Now, again, how do I research these? I break them down by categories. I break them down by ecosystems. Today, we're really going to be focusing on 3 altcoins based on the different ecosystems that I see are very promising moving forward, and kind of combining in with the Ethereum ecosystem, which are those first 2 that I talked about. But that's basically how I use CoinMarketCap right here. As I go here to a categories, you can also see here calendars. You see ICOs, so initial coin offering calendars. Really, it's IDOs now, initial DEX offerings and launchpads. I also have a new series on launchpad projects, so be sure to check that out. Basically, I'm going through all the ecosystems, all the launchpads that are out there on the market, and breaking them down fundamentally what is going on. Then you see the free airdrops calendar and events calendar. So very important to understand that. But yeah, this is basically how I look at it is, what are each of these different ecosystems? Is it in the Polkadot ecosystem? Is it interoperable, right? So that's what Polkadot is really doing. Is it in just smart contracts? What is it? I try and avoid things like this. I don't even want to say that name, but we can move on here to my first project that I'm very interested in, Avalanche, ticker symbol AVAX, rank number 46. I'm kind of breaking these up into relatively high market cap, and then mid market cap, and very low market cap. Now, the last one you have to be careful with, but if you understand what they're doing fundamentally, for me, it's a long-term hold. because I believe in DeFi being built on Bitcoin. I think it's one of the most undervalued plays, and I'll probably do a deep dive video on Sovryn. But throughout this video, if you have any questions, any comments, let me know in the description. Also, you can join the Telegram group, a link down below if you want to kind of start a discussion, because typically the YouTube comments, maybe you say something, I say something back, someone else comments in, but the discussion isn't very long form. I prefer a long form discussion. I prefer not kind of short attention span type things. So that's how I structure my investments. And again, I'm not just only consolidating crypto. What I like to do is be in all different global investment sectors, and that's what this channel is all about. So again, before I get into the details here, make sure you like the video if you've enjoyed it so far. If you have any picks, let me know in the comments. Also join the Telegram group, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, all those beautiful things to help the YouTube algorithm. So let's dive into it. Right around $11.47 at time of recording this is down about 1% on the daily. Most of the market is down today. So again, this is why the main thing to understand in this video is these are altcoins to watch in July. Now, the main thing is so many people like to be binary, or maybe they don't even think about it, but they just think in black and whites, right? They think, oh, buy, oh, sell. No, I like to always look at it not in certainties, but in probabilities. So instead of breaking things up into, okay, should I buy 100% AVAX with $10,000, or should I break it up into 10 different chunks and average in over time based on these different price dips, and then also average out over time so I can basically de-risk. That's what I personally like to do. So that's thinking more in probabilities versus uncertainties. So that's one thing I want you to take away from this video. Do not think uncertainties. Do not think buy, sell, buy, sell. That's black, white, right? That's binary thinking. You want to eliminate that. You want to think more towards, okay, what's a balanced approach? How can I set a plan in the market? And this takes time. This takes effort, but that's how you can invest long-term, right? One of my favorite series of books is Market Wizards. And I think it can apply to things like crypto, because a lot of people acting in this market are acting out of emotion. And if you can have the competitive edge of actually acting rationally, logically, I will close the door here so you don't have that background noise. But if you can think rationally and logically, you have such a competitive edge, because so many people in this market just think on, oh, let me FOMO into this project, right? Fear of missing out, or they have fear, uncertainty, and doubt of the news. These are the things where I look at them as opportunities when I see panic in the market. It's kind of crisis investing. That's where I look to average in, right? So Avalanche, for example, great tokenomics here, great project fundamentally, has retraced back down to these highs in February 11th of 2021, from $58 now back down to $11. So if you look at just Bitcoin, right? So I think Bitcoin is always a great thing if you understand crypto, if you understand the long-term perspective, to average in at these prices, especially in a retracement. But hey, you never know. As I said, a lot of this market's correlated. So what I like to look for is Bitcoin as a leading indicator, and then average in based on kind of my metrics on Bitcoin and Bitcoin dominance. Now, this is a bit more advanced things. This is why I'm saying if this is your first bull run, if you're not used to investing, be very, very careful in this market. I would recommend maybe doing some paper trading and understanding, okay, hey, maybe you shouldn't put money into these altcoins. Maybe you should just say, hey, let me look at if I would have put money into these, what would it have done? And that will help you moving forward, right? So everybody learns from mistakes. And as Warren Buffett says, some people in the crypto space don't like him, but I think learning from everybody, again, even if it's what not to do, as Abraham Lincoln says, is very, very important. So as he says, everyone learns from mistakes, but it's a heck of a lot easier to learn from other people's mistakes. So some people can only learn through trial and error, but if you're able to kind of separate yourself from this and be able to simulate other people's trial and error and then act on that yourself, this is beautiful, because then essentially, again, you're simulating other people's trial and error, and you can learn these things earlier on in your life versus, hey, you're tossing in your whole, I never recommend obviously investing anything more than you're willing to lose. But some people put so much money into these altcoins, and it's horrible to do, and it's sad to see. So again, I always like to take the balanced approach. I hope you do as well. But again, with Avalanche, I do think this is a great project fundamentally, and I am personally going to average in, especially if we see a pullback even further. Personally, I was averaging in when Bitcoin was under. Most of these altcoins that I'm in, my core position was built up because I use that Trident strategy, because I use all the things I talk about on this channel with the global investment framework. I averaged in basically below, when Bitcoin was below $10,000, right? So my core position, I'm still in the profit. But when I'm looking for, okay, averaging it again in another point, right? So tiered investing versus just black and white investing, this is the price points that I'm looking at here in July coming up. But again, I'm always open to criticism, right? I'm always open to, okay, what's the opposing argument? I lay this out in the global investment framework video: thesis, antithesis, synthesis. So seeking out disconfirming evidence is the antithesis. The thesis is your original idea. So maybe you think Avalanche is a good investment. That's your thesis. The antithesis would be, hey, Avalanche is doing this wrong, and this wrong. That's seeking out disconfirming evidence. You have to take that for what it is. That's why I always recommend people that are only in the crypto space, only like Bitcoin maximalists, listen to Peter Schiff. He's the antithesis of your argument, right? So then you can form the synthesis and go, hey, maybe he has something that he's onto, right? And then you're not just like tunnel visioned in. So anyways, that's enough kind of ranting over. I do apologize. We can get into these altcoins a bit more, but I just want to get all those things out of the way there, because I know some people just act in this market so emotionally and they don't think these things through. Mainly what I do on this channel, and mainly what I do personally is when I go and invest in capital markets, especially global equities, I think very, very rationally. And again, we can hop into it. I won't waste any more of your time with kind of the frameworks here, but we can see it's retraced about what? We would have close to a 4 to 5x if we went back up there. What Avalanche is doing fundamentally, I really, really like. I've talked about this project a lot. I've covered kind of altcoins in the Avalanche ecosystem on this channel before. Things like Pangolin, things like Avalanche, which is their actual launchpad project. Pangolin is their decentralized exchange. So basically their version of Uniswap. Speaking of Uniswap, built on Ethereum. Basically, Avalanche, what it does is it allows you to build these incredible projects with lower fees, kind of a different setup with the wallet, which I have tutorials on in my videos, but it also kind of allows you to join in and merge with the Ethereum ecosystem. And the beautiful thing about Ethereum is it has this network effect. It has Metcalfe's law going for it. So just like Facebook, it has all these users, it owns Instagram, it owns WhatsApp. It has this massive user base. So anyone trying to compete with Facebook, just like anyone trying to compete with Ethereum, has to deal with a network effect. I again talk about this in another video. I apologize for referencing all these other videos, but I'm trying to push all this information in one video so you guys really understand these things fundamentally. So again, that's why I really like Avalanche. Essentially, it's a smart contract platform, right? So it's just allowing you to build on Avalanche, but also have them compatible with Solidity. So I'm pretty sure you can see that here. Yes, so Solidity compatible decentralized applications. All incredible things for Avalanche, what they're doing in the green energy space. I love what they're doing fundamentally. Moving on to Fantom, another kind of smart contract type platform. FTM, ranked number 87. Now, a bit lower marketplace. This is like an alternative to Avalanche, I see. $633 million in market cap. At one point in time, the market cap was pretty crazy, right? Back up here at these highs. I think we were around $2.3 billion. You can see the difference there. Again, when I was talking earlier in this video about, okay, yes, you could say, I could include Bitcoin in this list. I could include Ethereum, but the max Ethereum can do just to reach these all-time highs, right? Let's just say July is an incredible month. Now, I'm not necessarily saying this is going to happen. Again, this is why I'm saying these coins you should watch. So personally, I'm looking for further price drops. I will be pulling profits if they rise again, but I do think the market will most likely be trading a bit sideways in July, just so you understand that. So what I'm personally looking for is maybe if Fantom retraces back down. It probably won't go that low, but hey, it could, right? So that's what I'm looking for, is kind of these key levels of support, maybe averaging in a bit more on some of these key projects. But also these prices aren't that bad, right? Because I do think whether it's 1 year from now, whether it's 2 years from now, whether it's 6 months from now, whether it's 2 months from now, I do think we will break these all-time highs down the road. Who is going to say when? Who knows? But 91 cents was that high there. So what if you do around you could say a 4x from here? We would see that a little bit under a 4x, right? So we would see those prices hit those levels. But with something like Sovryn, what Sovryn's doing fundamentally, and again, I'll wrap up my point here on Fantom, one endless platform solution. So again, this is also interoperable with Ethereum. Love what they're doing. Almost infinite transfers, simply secure, highly scalable, Ethereum compatible, all awesome things. I have a deep dive video on Fantom. If you want to see a deep dive video on Sovryn, let me know, but we're going to hop into this. So ticker symbol SOV, $15.22, down about 7% on the daily. This is my gem. This is my long-term thesis, is DeFi on Bitcoin is one of the most undervalued narratives in the whole crypto ecosystem. So many people focus on just DeFi on Ethereum, and that's why I like alternative plays like Avalanche, like Fantom, like Polkadot, like Cardano, like Solana, right? All these different ecosystems. But man, DeFi on Bitcoin, nobody thinks it's going to work, but what Sovryn's doing is incredible. Basically, they're creating this layer 2 where you can think about it like, okay, a spreadsheet, right? So think about all the cells in the spreadsheet, right? So you break it up, boom, boom, boom. You have all these different cells horizontally and vertically. That's basically the block size, right? So in each block, every 10 minutes, you have a certain amount of actual transactions you can fit in. And that's why your transaction fees are high, is because you have a fixed amount of blocks you can set in, right? It's not unlimited. Essentially what Sovryn allows you to do is take these things to layer 2, just like Polygon allows you to do in Ethereum. With this, you essentially are able to use one of these cells that would previously just fit one transaction, right? So Billy sends Bobby 1 Bitcoin. But obviously, you're seeing these in public keys on the blockchain. So if you go to the Bitcoin blockchain, the actual block explorer, you can see whatever public key sending it to another public key. You can see the hash, all these different things. That's 2 people sending it to each other in their own private wallets. Now, when you have each of those blocks in the spreadsheet taken up by all of those individual transactions, it can be very congested. Again, this is the problem that Bitcoin faced in 2017, and this is what Ethereum is facing now. That's why I'm bullish on things like Polygon. That's why I love Avalanche. That's why I love Fantom. So with this, essentially what it allows you to do is take multiple transactions from layer 2. So let's say we have a whole nother spreadsheet here on layer 2. We have all these different transactions, right? Blah, 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 blah. Whoever's Billy's sending Jane, whatever, Bobby's sending Janice, whatever. Hundreds of transactions, all in one spreadsheet. Essentially what you're able to do is wrap these things up, or it's called a roll-up. So you're rolling all these things up. That's what they call it, like ZK roll-ups, right? So you're taking all these things, adding it, but putting it in one cell on layer 1. So you're having the actual security and decentralization of layer 1, but you have the scalability of layer 2, because Bitcoin and Ethereum, what they lack in is scalability. That's kind of why, there's this argument for Bitcoin Cash or things like different payment currencies, like Litecoin could make this a case, maybe Dash could say this. But in the blockchain trilemma, this is where Ethereum and Bitcoin kind of fail on. That they have the nice stuff with decentralization. Obviously, they have the security there because they have the network effects and all these different things. But where they lack is this scalability, this speed. And that's what Sovryn allows you to do. You can see here on the Sovryn site, basically you're able to interact with DeFi on Bitcoin while still holding your own keys. So while keeping this together, it's absolutely awesome. I'm not sure exactly what happened with my camera there. Maybe I'm experiencing some technical difficulties. I hope not. But that's basically it for this video. If you enjoyed it, I hope this has recorded up until this point, because just now at the end, I'm experiencing some issues. But if you have any questions, any comments, let me know down in the description. Again, join the Telegram group, link down below. Follow us on Twitter at investglobal_IO. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell to stay up to date. As always, invest global, and until next time.